Nino, welcome back to Nino's Money Moves. And man, it's been an adventurous past couple of weeks, just to say the least. My license got suspended by accident by a clerical error on behalf of the Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles. They didn't send the corrected information to the court, and the court thought that I just skipped the trial on court or whatever, and didn't show up when I had actually taken the driver course, paid everything off and all that good stuff. So everything got straightened out, you know what I mean? But I just didn't want to, I didn't want DoorDash mainly to find out, that they had made that error on my license. So I was just trying to skirt by, really kind of stay under the radar, take as, many little deliveries as I can without attracting too much attention, about them wanting to run another report through Checker, which they didn't. It was all good. It came back green and everything. Uber actually hired me on today. I've started driving for Uber. This is my first day, official first day right now. And I got to tell you, Uber compared to DoorDash is a lot more popular down here in Evansville. It's way more popular down here. I made my quote already. I started driving at about 6 o'clock. I had both the apps running. I got the alert at like 5:30 this morning. And I was doing my thing, getting ready to drive a GrubHub, and I checked my email and everything, and I got the little congratulations email from Uber saying that I was eligible to drive for them. So it's like, all right, cool. So I finished doing the setup and everything, and like I say, for the past couple of weeks, DoorDash GrubHub has been kind of drive. I said DoorDash at first. That was my mistake. I drive for GrubHub first. I'm waiting on DoorDash to get my checker report right, but that's another story real quick. You know what I mean? But today is DoorDash versus Uber Eats, and this is actually the 1 year anniversary of when I started driving for GrubHub last year. Got the email to start driving for Uber Eats. So my first day for Uber Eats is like my anniversary for GrubHub. So it kind of worked out. As soon as I activated my my Uber Eats app, first order in like 5 minutes. Bling, bling. And it's like 2:31 right now. And in between the two apps, I think I've taken like maybe 3 deliveries for GrubHub today. I've taken like 8-9 deliveries. Man, I've taken like 8-9 deliveries for Uber Eats, maybe even more than that if I'm keeping really trying to think about the count. I haven't looked at the actual earnings report, the full earnings report as of just yet. I just dropped the delivery off at Newburgh from Journey's, which is the crazy part about it. I made 2 deliveries from the same restaurant, Journey's Fish and Chicken. The first one I made for GrubHub. As soon as I dropped that one off, I got an alert from Uber Eats to go back to the same restaurant and go to the other direction and take that one. So kind of worked out pretty good. I've been leaving both the apps kind of on and running. At first I was kind of shutting them down, between the two. If I take one and I shut the other one down, you know what I mean? But I realized, I didn't have to do that. I just left them running. If I didn't want to accept the order, I just say, no, I'm on another delivery already or something, or I just turn it down, which is pretty good. I take the tips, Uber versus GrubHub, the tips and the base pay are a lot better, for at least in my area around here. Like I said, I'm not speaking for anybody else's area. Your area could be totally different depending on how many people use the app where you are. But here in the little Evansville tri-state area, more people have the Uber Eats and started doing the DoorDash before they started doing the GrubHub. So GrubHub is kind of on the lower tier here around here in the tri-state. But Uber Eats, the base pay with Uber Eats around here, it was at least $1 per mile base pay versus GrubHub base pay. Ooh, it's getting dark around here. Looks like it's about to be a thunderstorm around here. Yeah, it's getting bad. So I had to buy me a new windshield wiper. My windshield wiper was streaking in the middle. It's been raining all day, so I had to pull over to the little autos on Advanced Auto Parts and grab me a new windshield wiper. I got to replace the passenger side. Depending on how the rest of the day go. Probably do that one tomorrow, but I at least needed to see through this window. But the base pay on Uber Eats is at least $1 per mile, and people do seem to tip a lot better. Versus GrubHub, their base pay average is about 50 cents per mile, and you gotta fight for them tips. I mean, for the past couple of weeks, I've been turning down, offer too low for payment, offer too low for payment, payment is too low for distance. That's the term that they use. Is either payment is just too low or payment is too low for the distance. And a lot of people, like, if you see something like going 10 miles, 8 miles, and they only giving like $6 something, that means that they didn't put a tip on there, because the base pay is 50 cents a mile on GrubHub. You know what I mean? So if they didn't even throw at least a $5 tip on there to, make it worth my while, I didn't even accept it. But it's been hurting. I was so glad to get that alert from Uber Eats today, and it eased it out. I met my regular daily quota plus some between the two. It's kind of like a 60, 2/3 made by Uber Eats and the third made by GrubHub. But it's, all good. I'm still waiting on DoorDash to get it, but the difference being Uber Eats customers, I found out, have at least about an hour to turn down their tip or to acknowledge the tip or whatever. No, knock on, wood grain, whatever. All of my customers that I've dropped off to today through Uber Eats have, accepted and, approved their apps. One even their tips, and one even upped the tip a little bit, which was all good. So I can't complain about that at all. But when I looked at the math, when you look at the math and do it the right way, when I try to average at least $1 plus per mile with GrubHub, most of those dollars would have to come in tips, because GrubHub only gives you like 50 cents per mile to start with. So unless that customer is really feeling really froggy right there, just feeling generous, which I hope they do. Same way you tip your waitresses, tip your delivery drivers, because we out here, hustling for the tools and fuels as well. You know what I mean? But the GrubHub tips, you really got to fight for those. The Uber Eats tips, they're nice with it, but the base pay is double what GrubHub is paying. So when I looked at my tips versus base pay, my tips on GrubHub would have to at least be double what my base pay is in order for me to make my daily quota, make the $1 per mile. This one, they're matching on Uber Eats almost dollar for dollar, and I'm still making my $1 per mile plus quota. I'm reaching for that $1.50 per mile, averaging about $1.25, $1.30 per mile. Like I said, that's just for today. This is my first day delivering with Uber Eats, but I gotta say, it's turned out pretty good. The waiting on the tips part of it, I'm really not too big of a fan on that one. I understand, if people have to decide what kind of service they get. If you get to that delivery and somebody then threw your food all over the porch, or left it in a puddle of water, or even looked like they didn't pick that or something, they might not want to leave a tip, so they have a right to, take it. I don't know if GrubHub can rescind the tip after delivery has been made, unless they have some kind of complaint about it. But I haven't run into that problem just yet. Another difference that I've noticed between GrubHub and Uber Eats is that you have to take a picture with Uber Eats after you make the delivery, or at least a customer can say, okay, I'll give you a code if they don't want a picture of their address or whatever, taking a picture of the house, because you don't have to take a picture of the food with the address showing that it's in front of the door and all that good stuff with Uber Eats. But GrubHub, you don't have to do that. They kind of track you to find, notice that you are at the delivery destination. But they have you take a picture of the receipt if you have to, do a prepay order or something like that. If you have to call the restaurant and pay for it with the GrubHub card, you have to take a picture of the receipt on GrubHub, but you don't have to take a picture of the actual delivery. You can send a text message with GrubHub saying your order has been delivered to your front door. Like that, you can attach a picture if you want to, but it's not necessary on GrubHub. With Uber Eats, you got to take a picture of each delivery, or at least have a code. The customer can come down and give you a code if they come down and get it personally. So far, GrubHub versus Uber Eats, the only major difference and discrepancy I would have to say is right now, I guess at this time of year, that the customer base on Uber Eats is a lot bigger than GrubHub. When I first started GrubHub, and first learned my little tricks. Oh, another little thing I would say, I'm glad that I did start with GrubHub first, because I learned a lot of tricks for this gig driver delivery style of delivery driving, how to calculate what orders to take and all that, so you don't be running. Because when I first started with GrubHub, I was running all across the city. I was going to Mount Vernon, McCutcheonville, what's the other one? Richland City, out there on the east side, and all. I was just traveling back just to try to make that same $100. I was going like 150, 160 miles. But until I started doing watching a couple videos of other people doing how to maneuver through the GrubHub app and learn which deliveries to take and how to gauge your, you can see one of my other videos on the channel, Nino Money Moves channel, about how to, gauge which deliveries to take, your delivery range, your dollars per mile, gauge your customer base and all that good stuff. So I have some steady, familiar customers on GrubHub, usually, that will order from the same restaurants over and over again. Once I started weeding down, the dollars per mile, not taking every delivery, my acceptance rate went as low as like 33% at one point, but I was still making almost $1.50, $1.75 per mile, and I wasn't burning all that gas. So it was a good day today so far. It's about 2:40. I'm gonna drive till about sundown, till about 4:30. I drive sun up to sundown. Start the breakfast through the beginning of the dinner rush. I don't like doing that dinner rush. This past couple of weeks, I've been having to do that dinner rush with GrubHub. I mean, that traffic is atrocious, and the tips are just abysmal at the dinner. I just didn't like it. I never liked driving at night. Even when I drove for the restaurants here in Evansville, I really didn't like driving at night because it was just like, the tips were just terrible. But so far, so good. Day one driving for Uber Eats. I got to give it the thumbs up so far. You know what I mean? Y'all can learn to, get them tips. The customers get them tips in a little bit quicker. But as I said, I hadn't been denied any tips so far. So, gig economy in full effect. I'm down with two of them right now. I got the Uber Eats and I got the GrubHub. I'm still waiting on DoorDash to approve my delivery so I can get triple breasted, as they say back in Old Town Chicago. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, share with all your friends. Nino Money Moves. We'll be talking about stock market moves. I had a couple little moves in the stock market this week that's kind of paying off. I'm waiting till tomorrow to see, on Friday, close the stock market tomorrow, to see how well it pays off. I'm up like 35% in one of my stocks, that when I started fine-tuning my trading strategy, in the stock market. So we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. Like, share, subscribe, Nino Money Moves. Don't forget to check out the Live 100 WURM Internet Radio, all the independent artists and home of the independent artists and entrepreneurs. You can hit the link in the description below and listen online 24/7. Support independent artists and entrepreneurs. It's your boy Nino Money Moves. Peace.